Fortunately, guys, he has lost ESPN and he has lost his $100 million podcast deal. All over some Badusi.
You're a sucker. The reason I don't do Big Tigger is because I had a tumor in my upper jaw and they had to take it out and they had to block the whole right of my sinus with a piece of metal. So ever since I got out the Marine Corps, I can only breathe out of one nostril, boy. I get my blood tested every 3 months for the last 15 years. All narcotic tests have come up 0.00%. I'm 44 years old, little Tigger. You look up my rap sheet. I have never had a DUI or a possession of anything, not even the marijuana I do every day. See, when you real, you can tell the truth about it.
The new pope is not Turkson. The new pope is 9-year-old Oscar nominee, Kevin Wallace.
Wow.
Welcome back to your daily dose of scandal and glamour. Let's spill the tea on today's biggest celebrity stories. Say what? Not Katt Williams putting Kevin Hart on blast for allegedly setting Shannon Sharpe up just to get him canceled. Yup, this whole scandal swirling around Shannon, Katt claims it's a straight-up setup, and he's pointing fingers directly at Kevin Hart like he's the one pulling strings. And guess what? Katt didn't just talk. He came loaded with receipts. Everybody knows Katt can't stand Kevin Hart. That beef goes way back. But this latest accusation, it's wild. According to Katt, Kevin never got over that brutal 2024 interview where Katt shredded him on Shannon's own show. And now, Katt says Kevin's been plotting with some major industry shot callers to bury Shannon for good. Here's where it gets even messier. Gabriela Zuniga, the same girl suing Shannon, she ain't just some random. Katt claims she's connected. Her family allegedly got deep ties in the industry, and Katt says she was planted to bait Shannon into a trap. He swears this was never about love. It was a calculated hit, and let's be real, Shannon didn't help himself. He was out here wildin' in interviews, bragging about his thing for younger women like it was cute. That was all the ammo the industry needed, and now they got him cornered, just like they planned. Now hold up, Katt Williams calling Kevin Hart a sellout ain't nothing new. This ain't the first time Katt lit into him for switching sides. Way back, Katt was already on Kevin's neck for pulling that infamous stunt on SNL, rocking a lace front and a dress, just days after claiming he'd never wear a dress to make it in Hollywood. Yeah, he said that with his chest, then folded real quick. This wasn't some small thing either. Around that time, a lot of black male celebs were popping up in dresses on TV, and people were heated. It felt like the industry was pushing an agenda, and Kevin looked like he caved. Folks started whispering that he gave up his pride for a paycheck, and Katt, he wasn't having it. And why was Kevin even being questioned about it in the first place? Because Dave Chappelle had just aired out the game in an interview with Oprah. Dave revealed that during a movie with Martin Lawrence, the producers tried to force him into a dress, and when he said no, they suddenly pulled out a whole new script, like they were waiting for him to fold too. Katt brought that up to show exactly what type of game these execs play. He saw Kevin's flip-flop as proof that he was down to play by their rules, even if it meant clowning himself for a little more screen time. And now, Katt's making it loud and clear. This ain't just about Shannon. It's about how far folks are willing to go just to stay in the game. That whole Dave Chappelle interview shook the room hard, and the industry couldn't ignore it. So of course, other celebs got dragged into the convo too. Kevin Hart was one of them, and when asked about it, he said with a straight face, "I would never wear a dress." But guess what? Not long after saying that, Kevin popped up on SNL in full-blown drag. Dress, wig, the whole thing. Like he forgot everything he just said. And don't get it twisted. Kevin wasn't some broke actor scrambling for roles, but he also wasn't at the top just yet. So when the opportunity knocked, he threw on that dress without hesitation, because deep down, he knew that was his ticket to finally break through, even if it meant throwing his own words out the window. Of course, when folks started dragging Kevin for switching up, he jumped straight into defense mode. He fired off a tweet saying, I wore a dress on SNL because I thought it was funny. I made that decision. Nobody made it for me. I am my own boss. Yeah, he tried to play it off like it was all jokes, but people weren't buying it. And as we said before, Katt Williams was not letting that slide. When asked about Kevin's little dress stunt, Katt clapped back immediately, calling him a straight-up sellout. He said he couldn't even be mad at Kevin, because in his words, Kevin was just part of a long line of black men being pushed into dresses just to level up in Hollywood. That wasn't a choice, that was a requirement, and Kevin took the bait. But Katt wasn't just mad about the dress. Nah, this ran deeper. At the time, the industry was out here actively trying to cancel Katt and bring in someone they could control. And guess who they picked? Kevin Hart. Why? Because Kevin would do whatever they said, no questions asked, even if it meant crossing his own morals. Katt? He wasn't built like that. He never folded, never played puppet for fame, and that's exactly why Hollywood wanted him out. So when Kevin Hart started blowing up, that's when they really came for Katt. The industry hit him with a smear campaign, spreading all kinds of wild rumors, painting him out to be some out-of-control criminal. They blackballed Katt hard, cutting off his roles and pushing him out the spotlight completely. It was a takedown, and it worked for a while. But then came 2018. Katt came back swinging, and he had smoke for Kevin. He jumped right back on his case, ready to expose him for being a fraud in the game. Now here's the funny part. Katt didn't even name drop Kevin in that comeback interview. But Kevin? Oh, he felt it. Like they say, a hit dog gon' holler. And baby, Kevin hollered loud. He jumped on The Breakfast Club, steaming mad, calling Katt a failure, and claiming the only reason Katt never hit his level was because he chose substances over success. But Katt wasn't about to let that slide. He clapped back hard during his interview on Shannon's Club Shay Shay, dragging Kevin all over again. Katt made it real clear. He believes there's no way Kevin climbed that fast in Hollywood without a little help from the top. In his eyes, Kevin's rise wasn't just talent. It was powered by the white elites who backed him all the way. And the way Katt tells it, that kind of boost don't come free. Katt didn't bite his tongue. He made it loud and clear that, unlike Kevin, he never took hush money from industry bosses to stay quiet about shady stuff going down behind the scenes. He said flat out that he refused to sell his voice for a check. Then he brought up a dark moment, the time he got blackballed for standing on principle. Katt said he got iced out after he refused to do a disturbing scene in Friday After Next where his character was supposed to get sexually assaulted. The producers thought it'd be funny, but Katt wasn't laughing. He said there was nothing funny about a scene like that and flat out said no. And guess what happened right after filming wrapped? Every single movie he was lined up to star in suddenly vanished, and the roles magically went to Kevin. Why? Because Kevin didn't push back. He didn't question anything. He did what they wanted. No edits, no complaints, just smiles and go-alongs. Now, Kevin never directly addressed Katt's claims, but he made sure Katt heard him loud and clear. During commentary at the Knicks vs. 76ers game, Kevin threw slick shade at Katt's interview, cracking corny jokes about Katt buying the Knicks and dropping them off at the arena, all while grinning for the cameras like he wasn't rattled. But that wasn't just banter, that was a warning. But according to Katt, Kevin was definitely pressed. He just played it cool for the cameras. Behind the scenes, though, Katt says Kevin's been working overtime trying to take Shannon down piece by piece. And honestly, it all starts adding up. Remember when Shannon hinted that someone was trying to cancel his whole show right after Katt made those explosive comments on air? Yeah, that wasn't just a coincidence. Folks are now putting the puzzle together, and the streets are buzzing that Kevin Hart was the one pulling strings from the shadows the entire time. But hold up, it gets deeper. Word is Kevin might also be connected to this latest Shannon S.A. lawsuit. And the woman suing him, Gabriella Zuniga, she's not some random accuser. She's allegedly tied to Hollywood royalty. Jaguar Wright came through with the tea, claiming Gabriella is actually related to none other than Daphne Zuniga. Yes, the actress from back in the day. So now people are asking, was this whole lawsuit just another industry setup to bury Shannon for good? And was Kevin the one moving the pieces behind the scenes? And now people are digging even deeper because the timing of everything, it's just too perfect to ignore. Right after Katt exposed all the industry games, Shannon suddenly found himself in the middle of another scandal. And who just so happens to benefit from all this? Kevin Hart, again. Some insiders are whispering that Kevin's been cozying up to the same execs who've been looking for a way to silence Katt and replace Shannon. See, Katt already exposed that Kevin was the go-to guy for roles once he got blackballed. So now it's looking like Shannon might be next on the chopping block. And Kevin, he's right there, smiling for the cameras, grabbing more deals, more shows, and more brand partnerships like nothing happened. It's got folks wondering, is Kevin just that lucky? Or is he playing a much dirtier game behind closed doors? Because the way Gabriella Zuniga popped up with a lawsuit right after Shannon's public praise of Katt? Yeah, that ain't sitting right with a lot of people. And let's be real, if Gabriella really is tied to old Hollywood money, then this ain't just about Shannon's actions. It's about power, control, and maybe even revenge. Now here's where things start looking real suspicious. The deeper folks dig, the messier it gets. And that timing? Way too slick to be a coincidence. Katt blasts the industry on Shannon's platform, and boom, Shannon's suddenly drowning in a scandal days later. And guess who's out here leveling up in the middle of the chaos? Kevin Hart, again. Whispers are flying that Kevin's been buddying up with those same high-level execs who blackballed Katt. They already showed they'll drop someone if they don't play by the rules, and now it's looking like Shannon might be next on their hit list. While his name gets dragged through the dirt, Kevin's cashing checks, smiling wide, and racking up more brand deals like he's untouchable. People ain't buying the just lucky act anymore. They're starting to ask, is Kevin moving in silence, setting up plays behind the curtain? Because Gabriella Zuniga filing that lawsuit right after Shannon went viral with Katt. That feels strategic, not random. And let's talk about that old money connection. If Gabriella really is part of that Zuniga Hollywood lineage, this goes way deeper than a messy accusation. This smells like a setup, one laced with power plays, secret alliances, and maybe even payback for Shannon giving Katt a platform. Bottom line, this ain't just drama, it's chess, and someone's making cold moves. And Katt wasn't done throwing shots. He circled all the way back to the root of the problem. He said Kevin ain't just a sellout, he's a puppet, a carefully placed figure that the industry uses to push their agenda while silencing the real ones. According to Katt, Kevin only made it because he never questioned anything. He just smiled, obeyed, and cashed the checks. But what really had folks raising eyebrows? Katt claimed Shannon always wanted to be accepted by that elite crowd, and the cost of that acceptance? Silence. Silence when the culture was under attack. Silence when real voices like Katt were being shut down. And now that silence, it's come back to bite him. Katt said straight up, Shannon showed his weak spot too many times, especially when he got reckless during interviews talking wild about his preferences. That gave the industry everything they needed to exploit him. They didn't even have to dig. He handed it to them. And while Shannon might have thought he was climbing the ranks by playing it safe, Katt says he was just walking into a trap built by the same people he thought were his allies. And now, that empire he was trying to build, it's looking real shaky. Because once they're done using you, they don't warn you, they replace you. But here's the wild part. Katt claimed this whole situation was never about justice, it was about leverage. According to him, Shannon wasn't just targeted for his past, he was being used as an example. A warning shot to anyone who steps out of line or dares to platform voices the industry wants gone, like Katt. And what better way to send that message than to humiliate someone who thought he was untouchable? Katt said the elites didn't care about what Shannon actually did. They cared about the power he held and how fast they could snatch it back. Even more disturbing, Katt hinted that this was all set in motion the moment Shannon let him speak freely on Club Shay Shay. He said that episode didn't just ruffle feathers, it blew up the nest. Executives weren't just mad, they were terrified, because Katt didn't hold back, and Shannon gave him the mic. So when that lawsuit dropped, Katt wasn't shocked. He saw it coming. He said it was just another move in a bigger game. And Shannon? He was never the king, he was the pawn. Now folks are wondering, is this what happens when you try to walk both sides? Smile for the suits, then turn around and platform the truth? Because Katt's message was loud. This ain't random. This is retaliation. And if you thought Katt was done, think again. He took it even further. He said the real problem with Shannon was that he thought he could play the game without paying the price. According to Katt, Shannon believed that if he stayed fit, dressed sharp, played nice with execs, and kept his head down, he'd be safe, untouchable. But Hollywood don't work like that, not for men like him. Katt said Shannon forgot what side he was really on. He was too busy chasing clout, thinking the suits loved him for who he was, when really, they were just waiting for the right moment to clip his wings. And here's the most savage part. Katt said the moment Shannon gave him a platform, he became a liability. The industry don't forgive that. Once you let someone like Katt speak the truth, you've already crossed the line. And when that happens, the same people who smiled in your face start drawing up the paperwork behind your back. Katt even claimed there were warning signs, meetings being canceled, phone calls going dry, partnerships stalling, all the red flags, and Shannon didn't see it coming because he thought his status protected him. But Katt, he knew better. He's seen this game before, and now he's saying what everyone else is scared to admit. Shannon ain't being taken down because of what he did. He's being taken down because of who he platformed. Katt didn't flinch. He stood 10 toes down and said what most won't dare say out loud. He said Shannon's fall isn't some freak accident. It's the system doing what it always does. Build you up, parade you around, then snatch it all back the moment you stop being useful. According to Katt, Shannon thought he was playing chess, but he was just another piece on their board. And the second he gave someone like Katt the spotlight, that's when he messed up. That's when he went from safe to problem. Katt said the industry thrives off fear and silence, and when someone like Shannon, who had the mainstream on lock, gave a mic to the wrong voice, they had to make an example out of him, quick and public. And what's worse, Katt claimed that all those people Shannon called friends behind the scenes, they're nowhere to be found now. Not one exec stepping up to defend him. Not one sponsor backing him up. All those deals, ghosted. It's like they were just waiting for him to slip. Katt summed it up cold. They never really wanted Shannon. They just wanted his influence. And when he used it for something real, they pulled the plug. So now Shannon's stuck in a storm. And according to Katt, he ain't getting played by strangers. He's getting played by the very world he thought he mastered. So here's the bombshell. According to Katt, Kevin Hart and some powerful Hollywood execs had this planned for years. And when they peeped Shannon's weakness, it wasn't hard to figure out the perfect trap. Using a young woman like Gabriella, with all her industry ties, was the easiest way to flip the script and take Shannon down without even breaking a sweat. And let's keep it real. Shannon made it too easy. In countless interviews, he proudly talked about his thing for younger women, especially barely legal white girls. Like, bro, you basically handed them the playbook. Looking back now, it's no wonder the industry struck where they knew it had hurt the most. Now let's be clear. Nobody's saying Shannon's innocent. He walked himself right into this mess by wilding out on Instagram, chasing clout and attention instead of moving smart. Like Monique said, if he had just settled down with a grown woman, none of this would have been that easy to pull off. People online are torn. One commenter said, "Nobody set this grown man up. He made his choices. Now he's got to deal with it." Another added, "He didn't care about his legacy or reputation. He chose the streets over sense. He's to blame." So now it's your turn. What do you think? Did Kevin play a part in Shannon's downfall? And is Katt right for calling him a sellout? Or did Shannon just self-destruct all on his own? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop with all the latest tea. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll catch you in the next video.